Hi YouTube! So for the rest of the day I had the Fantastic Day events. There were 3 including the party, I think. That's right. There was first of all the Berkeley authors meet and greet where you get free books, which was a little bit disappointing. I'll talk about that as I go through the books. The event I queued for just over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I did get one of the goodie bags, which I think everybody did actually. But the bag is very cute. It's got long straps, so that'll come in handy for probably a grocery bag later on. And the event organisers had put 3 random books in each bag. And that was it, that's what you got. And they'd got a table at the end with about a handful of other random books on there that didn't fit in the bags. But the first few people through the door just went and grabbed them all. So those of us who, I was only about 30th, 40th in line, if that. And those of us who then got these bags had books in a genre that not necessarily something that we'd read. And we actually asked the event organisers could we look in the other bags, because there was about 50 or 60. Excuse me, I think the cat's trying to eat something. Okay, where was I? So yeah, the event organisers, they'd still got, after everybody had come in, I mean, there's a huge queue to get in, we all got in, and they'd got about 50 bags still left on the side with all these other random books that they'd put in there. And a few of us said, can we look through those bags to swap out the books that we've got, because the ones that we were given in our bags were genres that we weren't interested in, and we're flat out told no. The bags that were left on the side just were randomly given out later on in the day to people who had already got bags, so I don't know why they didn't let us have a look through. But anyway, the 3 that I got were this one, Because You Are Mine, this one, Wicked Way to Win an Earl. This poor guy, he doesn't know how to use buttons. Poor guy. And then this one, The Perfect Man by Vicki Lewis Thompson. All of these, I mean, I think this is historical. This one, I think is trying to be similar to 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know. And then this, I don't even know. Some kind of body stripper kind of thing, I think. But not genres I read. So these are probably all going to end up in the library. So I actually ended up leaving that event early because there wasn't really anything else to hang around for, and made my way to the next one, which was for the Random House Shop Till You Drop event, which was described as being somewhere that you would shop till you drop for free books and get them signed by the authors, which definitely sounded like something I wanted to be in. And the first 400 people got a goodie bag with other things in there, so I went and got in the queue that had already started forming, and waited for 2.5 hours, might be just a bit longer. Long time. But while I was in the queue, it was time well spent. Somebody was giving away this because they didn't want it. They'd got it in a different goodie bag that they weren't interested in. So I asked if they wanted to swap one. They weren't interested in any of these romance ones I'd got either. So I got a Jack Reacher novel, which is great. So then on to the Random House Shop Till You Drop event. The queue finally started. Well, no, I'm backing up a bit. While we're in the queue, the fire alarm went off, which I talked about briefly in the video that I filmed at the time of the alarm going off. And it wasn't telling you to evacuate, it was telling you to just keep calm and that they were going to investigate. So all of us in the queue, like I said, we'd been there for just over an hour at that point. None of us wanted to move. This was supposed to be a really great event, loads of free books. I think we all probably would have just burnt to the ground rather than getting out of that queue. But thankfully it was just somebody who burnt popcorn. So then we got to get into the event, and the goodie bag for that one was Get Lit Faced, which is very cute. And again, they put 2 random books in there. You couldn't choose what the books were. And as we were walking in, they told us, oh, by the way, this Shop Till You Drop event, you get 1 book. Which we were all a little bit puzzled of, because I'm not really sure how that classifies as Shop Till You Drop. I think that the issue they had was too many people liked the sound of the event, and then they had too many people queuing up for it. But realistically, when we got in there, they still had goodie bags left over, so they didn't have even the 400 people go in there. So I don't know, poor planning, not sure. The books that I got in my bag, I think, are both contemporary romance. This one's an advanced reader copy of Nancy Nayer's The Island House. Don't know what it's about. There's nothing on the back because it's an advanced reader copy, so I'm not sure. And then this one, Emily Griffin, First Comes Love, is definitely some kind of contemporary romance, which I'll give a go. I don't mind contemporary. I don't read it very often, but I would give it a go. And because I could only get one book from an author in there, I actually chatted to the girls in front of me in the queue and asked who they recommended. And they said to try Laura Lane. So I got her book, I Wish You Were Mine, and she signed it for me, which was very nice. And again, I think possibly contemporary. I'm not sure. So then on to the next queue, which was for the Fantastic Day fan party, which was crazy. And I talked about that in my previous vlog. If you want to check that out, I'll put the link below for the previous vlog if you haven't already seen it. While in the queue for that one, I again did another swap of something. I can't remember what I swapped, but I got a Janet Ivanovic novel. I've heard of her, but I've not read any of her books. This is the 21st one in the series, so hopefully they're standalones. I'll give it a go. And then other authors were coming down the queue and just handing out books for free because they didn't want to carry them home with them on the plane trip home. So I got Hot Seal, which is a very sexy looking man, some kind of Navy SEAL, DA agent kind of mashup. I don't know. So I'll try that too. Oh, and I forgot to mention Random House, while they were giving us our one book for Shop Till You Drop, gave us cookies, which were nice, but not really the same as books. But I'm still taking them because these both look really good. So into the Fantastic Day party, I got the goodie bag, which is very fun and will definitely come in handy as some kind of a book bag of sorts. And this had books in it, which I don't remember all of them. I think these were 2 of them in there. This might have been from another goodie bag that I'll show you in a minute. But they're both, again, this guy can't do buttons at all. What is it with these guys and buttons? I think they just need Velcro. They're very simple. But yeah, I think this is historical. This is historical. This, even though it's not any thicker than this one, this weighs like a brick. You could kill someone with this book. I'm not saying you should, but you could. But yeah, both of these I think are going to go to the library. They're not what I'd read at all, not my kind of genre. So as there's about 34 of these free books, well, I've shown you 4, so there's 30 to go. There's a lot, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly with not very much description. I'm sorry, I will do my best, and I'll probably talk about the ones that I read later anyway. So first up, we have Kiss Cam, which is an advanced reader copy by somebody. Kiara London. No idea what this is about, some kind of romance. Next is The Summer I Found You by Jolene Perry. This one I am going to talk about. I picked it up because it said autographed copy. The front looks some kind of contemporary romance, which again, it's a genre I don't pick up often, but I do read. It's autographed in there. Not to me, but just an autograph. And then when I got home, I read the back. And I will read it to you now. Yeah. Okay. Kate had the perfect boyfriend until he dumped her. It couldn't have come at a worse time. Ever since she found out she has diabetes, she just wants to feel normal again. Why wouldn't she feel normal with diabetes? Lots of people have that. It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. I don't think you'd be abnormal with that. If I'm making a big screw up here and people disagree with that, let me know. Aidan planned on being a lifer in the army and went to Afghanistan straight out of high school. Now he's the guy with one arm and nothing is the same as before. When they meet, all they have in common is that they're less than perfect and they're looking for a perfect distraction. You can't compare diabetes to war-related injuries. Is that just me being kind of uptight about this? But that's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, this I'm not going to read because this is going to make me too angry for that kind of a comparison. I'm on the... that's my phone. I'm on the fence about whether I will send this to the library or just bin it. I hate binning books. But yeah, this... I don't even know where to begin with this. Next, we've got The Life and Death of Georgia Graham by Bryn Myers. Or Myers? Myers, I think. And this, I think, has some kind of fantasy elements to it, and it's about romances that don't necessarily have a happy ending. which is a bit of an interesting thing at a romance kind of convention. So yeah, I'm interested in this too. Next is a book I ended up with 2 copies of. I think one was in a goodie bag that I didn't realise it was in there, and then I also found one on one of the swap tables, which is Red Rising by P.S. Brown. I've had this sort of in the back of my mind for a while. People talk about this a lot and they review it fairly well, I think. But whenever I read about the blurb on Amazon, it just didn't grab me completely enough to buy it. I was going to rent it from the library, but now I have 2 copies. So one of them I'm going to keep, the other one I'll give to the library anyway, so they've got a copy, or maybe to a friend, I'll see. Next is Love Stories by Beth Yarnell, and I thought this was some kind of dark-looking romance, but I think it's just a collection of first chapters from different authors, which is good to get a sense of different authors I could check out, but it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Next is The Last One by Alexandra Olivier, and this is a psychological suspense thriller. And then I got an anthology, which is The Red Soul Clues by a bunch of these authors, and I got the author who was there signed her story in it, which is Laurie Ryan. I think it's crime, some kind of shoe involvement, and that's totally me, so yeah, definitely going to read this. Then we've got Bad Romeo by Lisa Raven. This book, when she came out, she'd put the stack of them on the table. She got about 12, maybe 15 copies. We all queued up. I was third in the queue to get a copy and for her to sign it. And while she was sort of messing around putting the books on the table, somebody said to her, "Oh, is this your book?" And she said, "Yeah, just take one." So everybody that was just walking past suddenly started taking them. All of us that were queuing were like, "What the hell is this? We've been waiting here to get a copy signed, and you're just handing them out randomly to people who weren't queued." So that was a little bit but yeah, so we all managed to get a copy, at least the first of us in the queue, and she did sign it for me, which is nice, but a little bit disorganised. And I also got Secret of the White Rose by Trish Thoyer, or Thoyer, I think. An author I've not heard of, and this is book 1 in the series, so we'll see how that goes. And then I got an advanced reader copy of The Darkest Torment by Gina Showalter, which I think is book 1, possibly book 1 in the Lords of the Underworld series. I don't know anything about this author or the series. I think it's some kind of fantasy. It's got some sexy man on the cover, so it looks good. Christmas in July by Debbie Mason. This is some kind of light-hearted romance. I think this was the one that was a military-themed homecoming book, but some kind of possible thriller, I don't know. The cover doesn't say thriller, but maybe I'm misremembering that. And I have Hold Your Breath by Katie Ruggles, I guess. I don't know why this guy isn't looking the same way as he's pointing his gun. Bad practice. But yeah, some kind of action-y romance, bad gun practice book. And I have It's in His Kiss, which again I thought was a short story, but it's actually a bunch of authors writing their favourite scenes, which would be interesting to check out, but it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. This one I picked up because I just loved the cover and the title, Fried Pickles and the Fuzz. This is by Calico Daniels. It's obviously some kind of light-hearted thing. I think it's romance, and it's very, very short, so that'll be a quick read, and I'm excited to read this one. Then I have You, which is by Caroline Kepnes. Some kind of thriller. Stephen King is the one who's written the notation down here. So it's got to be some kind of thriller. I'm not entirely sure anything else about it, but I enjoy that genre a lot, so I definitely picked this up from the swap table when I saw it. Then we have Bone Dry by Kim Fielding, and this, from what I remember, is a gay werewolf romance. I've not read any fiction in that genre before, so it's only a short one, so I'll see how that goes. Next is The House We Grew Up In by Lisa Jewell. I think contemporary romance here. Oh no, that's right. This is a book about a family who has some kind of tragedy happen one Easter, and the family kind of falls apart, and then it's looking at what happened with that, and I don't know what the secret is that happened with the tragedy, but some kind of, I guess, suspense maybe. But I'm interested to read this to see what it's actually about. Then we've got The Two of Us by Andy Jones, which I think looks like some kind of contemporary romance. And Mafia Girl by Deborah Blumenthal. I like the cover of this. I love this kind of artwork. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Don't know the author, don't know the book. Some kind of mafia cop-related romance. So it sounds like a fun read, and I think it's going to be a light-hearted read. Only 4 to go. We're getting through the pile slowly. Next up is The Witch of Painted Sorrows by MJ Rose. Again, beautiful, beautiful cover. And this, I think, is some kind of fantasy, possibly historical. I'm not entirely sure. I'll see. Then we have Heather Graham's The Forgotten. I've heard of Heather Graham, and she was there at the book fair, but not at this party, I don't think. I've never read any of her books, so I don't know what they're about. This is, I guess, a thriller. I'm not sure. I will see, and let me know if you've read any of her books, because she seems like a really big name, but I've not actually, I don't know anything about what she writes. Next up is Supremacy, a Valen series novel. I think this is book 1 in the series, by Andy Luter. I don't remember much about this. I think it's some kind of fantasy romance. I don't know. And finally, we're there. Last book is The Passage by Justin Cronin. And I think this is a thriller. The cover definitely seems to say thriller. God, it's so heavy. This is another book you could knock somebody out with. Not that I ever would. So that was it. Oh my god, so many books. I've got so much swag as well that I haven't even shown on here, but loads of swag. There were bookmarks and pens and goodies and all sorts of things. So yeah, so many things. It was a long day, but it was a really fun day. And thanks for watching this video and seeing all the books that I got, that I paid for and that I got for free. It's definitely worth it, I think, for the price of the ticket. But the party at the end of the day saved the day, really. The 2 events before that, with the Random House event and the Berkeley Authors event, were a bit of a flop, considering I'd paid $55 for the day ticket. And I only got, by that point, 1 book in a genre that I'd read. The others were ones that weren't anything I'd be interested in, and I wasn't allowed to look to swap them. So yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment until the party at the end, which saved the day. So thank you for watching this video, and be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!